Hello! Another episode of Reruns. Another My Little Pony analysis.
So... only for you, Dash.
Today I'm gonna do Griffon the Brush Off from My Little Pony Season 1, Episode 5. Oh my god, I can't see my script.
Junior speedsters are our lives, skybound swords and daring dives. Junior speedsters, it's our quest to someday be the very best.
Okay, so if you're here, you probably already know how the episode goes, but you know what? I'm gonna sum it up for you anyway. Rainbow Dash reconnects with an old friend, Gilda the Griffon. When Pinkie Pie tries to join in on their fun, Gilda varies from giving Pinkie the cold shoulder to just outright sabotaging her behind Rainbow Dash's back. Things escalate when Pinkie goes to Twilight for help, and Twilight tells her that maybe she's just being jealous. And then Pinkie, immediately sees Gilda bully Fluttershy and abuse an old woman. Pinkie's master plan at handling Gilda is to throw her a party, and during the festivities, Gilda gets positively dunked on repeatedly as she continues to trigger pranks in front of the entire. She didn't intend for Gilda to set them all off, she just happened to. But all of that, it doesn't matter now that Dash has seen how Gilda has treated Pinkie Pie, as she yells at her in front of the entire party. Dash isn't comfortable being around someone who treats her new friends so poorly and asks Gilda to leave. I love this episode so much, and I could list so many movies or shows or episodes that I wish ended like this episode, the Lego Ninjago movie. And it's a really powerful message to equip watchers with, especially since this particular wrap-up isn't done enough in the context of friendship or even family. The Lego Ninjago movie. So let's just put our allegory glasses on. Oh my god, I can finally see my script. Rainbow Dash is in an abusive relationship. She has fond memories with her friend Gilda. She recalls lots of good times together. She cares about her, but she doesn't see the damage that Gilda does outside of this relationship. She's blind to the abuse. Now, I use the word friend here because this relationship can be stretched in a few different positions. This could be a romantic relationship, but I want to stress that not just romantic relationships can be abusive. Any relationship can be, whether it's your partner or parent, guardian, or even friend, and also the relationship you have with yourself. Pinkie is an outsider. She can see the harm that's happening, but she doesn't know what to do. She asks for help. She tells Twilight. This is where I like to get conceptual. You see, Twilight represents another kind of abuse, the psychological abuse, and so it turns the situation around to blame Pinkie Pie for being just jealous. Twilight can also represent the rationalization of abuse. Imagine that all the ponies represent parts of a brain working together, and Gilda, as a griffin, represents an outside force. An outside force as in somebody outside of the relationship. Twilight is the part of us that tells us, no, it's my fault that they treat me this way. I need to do better to avoid further abuse. Which is what comes back later when Pinkie puts on the party, in a fascinating way. Thinking about Pinkie's true motive, which was simply to throw a nice party for someone who had been outwardly harmful to both her but several other people that she knew, Pinkie was attempting to appeal to Gilda to prevent further abuse. Okay, so let's come back to Earth. I'm not gonna take my glasses off though, because I really need to see. So imagine this episode ended with something like Pinkie threw a party for Gilda and she actually really liked it and was like, oh gosh, thanks, this is just what I needed to get out of my shell. I don't know why that's Gilda's voice. Our moral would be something like, no matter how awful someone is, just give them things and maybe they'll turn out to be secretly nice. So bad. Imagine this episode ended and Pinkie was the one who pulled all those pranks, and Gilda actually laughs and turns out she was just trying to prank Granny Smith and Fluttershy. She was just awkward about it. What would that episode even mean? If someone is mean to you, maybe they're just joking, so be mean back, but as a joke, and maybe you'll bond over a shared interest. Okay, so that's also bad. What if the episode went exactly how it did, but in the end, Gilda, says she's really sorry, and the ponies are like, well, okay, you apologized, come and join the fun. And they party, and then Gilda, comes back next season as a friend. but it's not like really earned. See, I also hate this. This episode can only end one way for it to be so meaningful. Imagine you're a kid, and when you say, hey, maybe don't do that, they say, oh, I'm sorry, and then they just keep calling you names. Or what if your parents are your abusers and every time they hurt you they say sorry, but they continue to abuse you? What do you do? Well, in this bad end alternate universe I've created for you, where the episode really ends with the ponies letting Gilda stay and just apologize for being mean, we're basically telling kids to suck it up. They said sorry, so what more do you want from them? Just move on like these characters do. But the show doesn't do that, because we're in the timeline where the episode ends with Rainbow Dash telling Gilda to leave, that she's not comfortable with this, and then Dash immediately turns to her support system. These are the motions I think we need to be equipping watchers with. These are the things we need to become more familiar with. The cycle of abuse, the definition of gaslighting, and the normalization of severing ties with abusers, no matter how close they are. And that's why I bring up the Lego Ninjago movie in the first place. And when I thought of this video, Infinity War wasn't really a thing, but now it is, so this actually applies to that too. We can't keep making movies and shows appealing to children and feeding them this idea that no matter how horrible someone is to you, if they love you, it's okay that they abuse you. Family and love are not above abuse and trauma, and abuse can exist in many forms in many types of relationships. This episode is rather early in season 1, and was one of those episodes that really sold me on the show. Not just for the style or the music, but that they weren't afraid to avoid sugarcoating some things. This is like My Little Pony, right? My Little Pony, episode 5, and they're taking our hands gently and saying, hey, that friend of yours, the one that's mean to you and doesn't respect your boundaries and doesn't like your other friends, you don't have to be friends with them. If they're making you unhappy or even feel unsafe, you have every right to tell them to leave, to walk away and make new friends who do make you happy. You have that power, and you have nothing to be guilty for.